Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Teed off by shoulder pain? We've got specialists for that. Realizing you've pulled out more than weeds? We've got specialists for that. Doing the twist making you shout? We've got specialists for that. Orlin and Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
From Farmingdale State, the home of Nassau County Boys Soccer Championships. It is Game 2 of the Nassau Class B Semifinals, pitting the third-seeded Bears of Evergreen Charter against the second-seeded Seahawks of Cold Spring Harbor. Tonight's semifinal broadcast brought to you by the fine folks at Orlin and Cohen. We thank them so much for their sponsorship of not just tonight, but of all of Nassau County boys soccer playoffs. We welcome you inside the booth. I'm Dylan Butler, joined by Rob Anderson. And it should be an exciting matchup. The first one certainly was. Carl Place has booked their spot into the final, beating Oyster Bay by a goal. Like that game, this one you would say Cold Spring Harbor should be the favorite against an Evergreen team they beat twice. But some late-breaking news maybe turns the table towards Evergreen.
Yeah, you said it, Dylan. In the warm-ups, Cold Spring Harbor's goalkeeper, Ty Donaldson, had an injury that he believes to have suffered a broken thumb, which means there's going to be a last-minute replacement to third-string goalkeeper Michael Gito, who's gotten a little action during the season, but he's in a huge spot today. We'll see if Donaldson can work his way back after seeing the trainer, but right now, not the case.
Yeah, not the number 2 keeper. He's out injured as well, so you move down the depth chart to potentially the number 3. That's at least what we think is going to happen here before the start of this one. But first, when we look at Evergreen, they are a team last year that, of course, won the Long Island Class C Championship, a storybook first season of varsity soccer for the Bears. And this year, a little bit of a step up in class into Class B. It has been a struggle, 3-8-1 on the year. But if they are to pull an upset, Rob, today, here's 2 guys that they're going to look for to lead them along to perhaps their second straight final.
Yeah, you said it, Evergreen getting into the Long Island Championship, and they've got Aniello Cifuentes, 3 goals and an assist on the season. He's a savvy playmaker, can move the ball up and down the field. And then Marcio Rodriguez, big and strong, physical player, and can distribute the ball very well out the back.
Yeah, Rodriguez, more of kind of that box-to-box midfielder, right? But a guy certainly to keep an eye out for this Evergreen Bears side that, again, 3-8-1, the number 3 seed here today. For Cold Spring Harbor, what a terrific season it was. It started, as it often does, against Northport, certainly a terrific non-league showdown. But then after that, you beat Carl Place and you announce yourself as a team that can contend and potentially win a Class B championship. And 2 guys who have been instrumental for them along this journey. We'll show the impact players for Cold Spring Harbor now. What a terrific duo here. We have Finn Richmond up top and Kisner in the back.
Yes, Finn Richmond, 10 goals and 6 assists, 26 points on the season. A big playmaker, has a nose for the net, and can finish the ball very well. Will Kisner, strong out of the back, smart defender, good decision maker. Both of these young men are going to have a big impact on this game.
Yeah, Kisner, a captain, a returning starter at sweeper for Cold Spring Harbor, a guy who doesn't get fazed by anything. Keep her out. Okay, no problem. We will continue. We will play. And that's a little bit of the message, certainly, that he'll have for his team. Let's meet the starters for both of these teams as the coin flip is being done at midfield. First for Evergreen Charter. And they will roll out in a 4-4-2 formation, which could, depending on how this game starts, become a lot more defensive. And it starts with an excellent goalkeeper, Alex Cruz, a guy who really led them to the Long Island Championship a year ago. His brother, Chris Cruz, twin at right back. You've got Flores and Oviedo, Duarte at left back. At left midfielder, Oriana. We mentioned Rodriguez, Villalta, and Hernandez. And up front, Cienfuentes and Melendez in the attacking duo. But again, it's Alex Cruz, a guy who, good shot stopper in the goal for Evergreen. And again, you mentioned the storylines a year ago. He was a leading actor in leading Evergreen to that championship. And Alex Cruz, the Evergreen goalie, we expect, again, one of the captains as well for this team, a guy that is always on time to every training session, a guy that Evergreen Charter will lean on here this evening.
Yeah, as Coach said, he's a great shot stopper. There he is, 36 goals against, but he's got 51 saves in there. And he's one of those guys that doesn't want to leave the 18-yard box, plays it really well inside, and a Long Island champion right there. No clean sheets on the season, but he knows this team well, knows what Cold Spring Harbor brings, and is ready for it.
Let's meet the starters now for Cold Spring Harbor, and they'll operate out of a 4-3-3 formation with a sweeper stopper in the back, which is where we'll start. We thought we would have Ty Donaldson there, and obviously that's a late-breaking change. It's Neary, Kisner, Sheridan, and Light in the back. Interesting there. Connor Sheridan literally steps into his brother's shoes. Lucas was a starting stopper a year ago. It's Connor this year. From left to right, Stimple, Mazzilli, Rin Furukawa. Not Rio Furukawa, his younger brother Rin, the 8th grader, starting Graydon Vitagliano. They call him G. His older brother Bennett was a starter on this team a year ago. He's at left wing. At right wing, Aris Givalekian, the senior. And up front, we mentioned before, Finn Richmond as well. An excellent senior leader, 10 goals on the year. And in goal, again, we go down the depth chart. Didn't expect Michael Gitto, and I don't think Michael Gitto expected it either. But it's the next man up mentality. His boys will cover for him, we know that. And what a big spot for Gitto to step into.
Yeah, huge spot, Dylan. And that picture taken on the field right before the game.
Yeah, by you.
And look at by me running down there. But that game face he's got is exactly what he plans on bringing to the game today. They were peppering him with shots, and his coaches were coaching him up. From what I saw in the warm-ups, quick instincts, moves really well on the ground. Maybe the kind of third-string starter any team would like to have.
I'm sorry, Gitto.
Gitto, correct, yeah.
Michael Gitto in goal for Cold Spring Harbor. We spoke with both coaches leading, of course, up to this game, and they identified 3 keys for victory in this one. And let's show you those keys for both of these teams who hope to go on and play Carl Place next Saturday.
Hey, you can take a look at it. For Evergreen Charter, obviously defend well. They like to play man and get in the way. They need to locate their forwards, looking for the long ball a couple of times, Coach said, and strong goalkeeping play, which they've consistently got. For Cold Spring Harbor, they want to get off to a quick start, establish themselves, much like they did this season, and defend as a complete unit. It's not one player out there. Move as a unit and make sure that they get that ball out. Communicate, win the 50-50 balls, which they've done all season long, and they have a little size advantage up against this Evergreen team.
So it is Evergreen Charter. It is Cold Spring Harbor, the Nassau Class B semifinals. Opening kickoff when we return here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Number 5, Finn Richmond.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Back here at Farmingdale State, Dylan Butler, Rob Anderson, our entire Varsity Media crew here. It is the second of two semifinals in Class B. We already know a finalist. We'll take a look at the bracket now, and Carl Place survive and advance. Did the Frogs. They leaped over Oyster Bay 2-1, and it was not an easy one there. Oyster Bay challenging for the potential equalizer late. So the top-seeded Frogs, they are back in the county final, back where they've been for a lot of years. But who will they face? Is it Cold Spring Harbor? Is it Evergreen Charter? Odds makers, if there are such things in Nassau Class B soccer, they would say Cold Spring Harbor the favorite. Right, they won both regular season meetings back on September 14th, a 1-0 win. Followed up October 8th on the road, 4-0 win. So they've not conceded a goal. They've scored 5. But again, this is playoff soccer. Anything can happen.
Yeah, you said it, Dylan, and even the fact that you said survived versus the Bayman, Carl Place tells you everything you need to know. The regular season, you can throw it out the window when it's playoff time. And just like the Oyster Bay team, they had a big loss to Carl Place entering the playoffs, and then, gave them everything they've got. This Evergreen Charter team, even though they're new, have a history already with a Long Island championship under their belt. The little engine that could. Coach Jose Figueroa hoping that he can get that going here today against Coach Christian Lynch and his Seahawks.
Yeah, those guys in the huddle, when you've got a situation, I don't know if you faced this, Rob, in your years of coaching, but when you have a third-string goalkeeper who wasn't expecting to play, Michael Gito, we showed you the game face. He was locked in. You were on the field. You saw it. But those other guys around him, right? What's the key here for them Do you just, does everybody elevate their game? Like, no shots, we got to defend as a unit.
Yeah, I think, obviously that's going to be Coach Lynch's message. We do what we do. We defend as a unit. You want to keep the shots as indirect as you possibly can. Keep them to the outside. And obviously be super supportive of the young man between the pipes. Just make sure that he knows that he's protected and that the team's going to have his back. And Gito, like you saw his face, he looks like he's ready to go, Dylan, and give this team everything he's got in the unfortunate situation that Ty Donaldson finds himself in.
And if you're on the other side, if you're Evergreen, and again, you're a team that has struggled in the attacking third, what an opportunity that's in front of you. Put shots on frame from anywhere and everywhere. Challenge a keeper who hasn't seen a lot of the game.
Yeah, and Coach Figueroa, I'm sure by this point, realizes that there's been a switch. Donaldson was down and had to get the trainer over with the cart. But, yeah, you're going to tell your team, take shots, test him early, make sure he's uncomfortable, and keep a speedy, quick start to this game.
So here we go, Cold Spring Harbor. They're in their home whites. Evergreen in their away kits. And Cold Spring Harbor looking to start fast. Challenge at the corner flag, and it will be corner number 1 for the Seahawks.
Well, that's a quick welcome to the game present there for them. We'll see if Evergreen can defend well, and on this corner kick, Cold Spring Harbor looking to get something started.
Gavelkian, they call him AG. Served a pretty nice ball. Still loose in the box. And it will go out for an Evergreen throw. Our officials for this one, our referee is Patricia Thelwell, Dave Poley, and Martin Target. Your assistant referees, and Phil Catalanato is your 4th official. Excuse me, that was a Cold Spring Harbor throw, which Alex Cruz will gobble up.
Number 1, Alexander Cruz.
Save number 1 for Alex Cruz.
So right out of the gate, Cold Spring Harbor establishing a nice touch, moving the ball well up the field, and keeping Evergreen on the chase a little bit out of the gate.
Yeah, Jose Figueroa, the Evergreen coach, said in our conversation leading up that physically this seems like it's kind of men against boys. He said Cold Spring Harbor, big, strong, physical, older players, where he still has a very young team. But this is what they want to do. They want to possess the ball. They want to play 1-2s. They want to keep it on the ground, Evergreen. 50-50 challenges, that's not where success, he thinks, will come. Good touch at the edge of the 18, and there is the combination play. On the ball there for a moment was Cienfuentes. And Gito, that's what you want. You want to get an early touch on the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Challenge him early. Get that ball on the net. Gito collecting it up, keeping his composure. And he gets his first save of the playoffs.
In 20 or 30 years, that was a laser from 40 yards that he parried over the bar in the conversation. I mean, we'll have it forever on Varsity Media, so he can't flex that much, but.
No, I think he's even got to, slow it down and take your words, steal the Dylan Butler words. The laser parried.
Here is Cruz. Good punt towards midfield. It was settled momentarily by the freshman, Anderson Melendez. Here's Cienfuentes. A lot of what Evergreen wants to do is through Cienfuentes. 3 goals and an assist on the year. Throw in for Cold Spring Harbor.
So we did just get news Gito's probably going to be playing this entire game.
Shot blocked. Second opportunity, and Cruz dives up, knocks it down. Corner for Cold Spring Harbor, but what a chance for the Seahawks.
Yeah, you said it. It was Finn Richmond almost bending it into that top left corner. As we get another look at it here, Richmond just gets enough space. And Dylan, look at that shot. It is perfection. But Cruz says, I'm going to out-perfect you.
And he got a nice legal or otherwise pick as well to get freed up on the play. Corner went near post. It's loose in the box and cleared out by the Bears, but not out of trouble. You could see Cold Spring Harbor right away. They are playing on the front foot. And listen, they would want an early goal regardless, but if you can give Gito and a little extra confidence, right, why not? As Connor Sheridan will back up the track to take this throw-in. Sheridan to the near post. He'll get it back. Serves it in. Headed clear from the 6. Sheridan back in again to the back stick. And this will go out of touch, as it will be a goal kick for Cruz. Or do they call a foul? I think they call... No, it'll be a goal kick.
And you mentioned today's officiating crew. A lot of veterans out there.
Number 1, Alexander
President
Cruz.
Tom Cully making sure he's got the best of the best out on the field during the playoffs.
Sheridan won that ball in the midfield.
And, folks, anybody that wants to get involved in refereeing, we should say there's been a shortage. Tom Cully is the guy to reach out to.
We'll stop the clock here as Patricia Thelwell, what does she have? I think it was just to get... Oh, there's a player coming off for Evergreen. And they'll also reset the clock. I think I heard 34-25.
I wonder if Joshua Flores ran over to the side, and I wonder if it was some kind of equipment change or jewelry. But the stoppage on the play, and Flores heads over to the bench and will reset here with the Cold Spring Harbor throw.
Which will again be Sheridan to do so.
That throw in by number 4, Connor Sheridan.
Headed, still alive, and that shot over the bar.
And now we'll have a goal kick.
What I was going to say before is it's kind of, look, Evergreen's a team, they want to play it on the ground, right? But they're also wary of not playing out of the back. So now you got to play a 50-50 in the midfield that you're almost inevitably always going to lose. It's like a tough catch-22 for the Bears right now.
It certainly is, and you just got to wait for that big counterattack, try to move the ball up the field. And they do have a shot on net, so we'll see if they can create more opportunities.
Cienfuentes. Long ball played up, looking to find Cienfuentes, and Gito does a good job coming off his line, making sure that trouble is averted.
And great communication there with Will Kisner as he was running back. You'd see that he was shielding the ball, just making sure that he can get that play, and Gito scooped it up.
Ball out for a throw, and it's not quite Leary-esque, but we've seen the early trend here, right, where it's always going to be Sheridan to do so. Makes sense, too, right? Really good athlete, baseball player as well, soccer, kind of a second sport, but he'll play it short. Well, yes, he will. He'll get the ball back. A lot on that service and a little bit too much, and it will go out for a goal kick for Cruz.
Another guy offensively we're going to probably be mentioning quite a bit for Cold Spring Harbor is their senior number 6, Luca Mazzilli. Offensively, he's a stud captain, 2-time All-County player, 4-time starter. And you can see him. He controls the middle, but getting involved offensively early. Him and Finn Richmond know how to create space.
Yeah, you always want to be, and again, it's maybe a little bit of soccer cliche, right? But you always want to be strong up the spine. And Cold Spring Harbor is that, right? Like, you've got Kisner as a sweeper, and then you've got Mazzilli at center mid, and then you've got Finn Richmond up top. That's right up the middle, as strong as you can get in Nassau Class B.
And when you say strong, physically strong.
Yeah, that too.
They know how to create separation and dominate the ball. Definitely a luxury.
That throw went out of bounds, and it will be a Cold Spring Harbor throw. We are here. It's like a short-term house rental here for us, right? We are going to be here for the next week plus, for all but one day at Farmingdale State. Loose ball, Cruz scoops it up.
Scooped up by number 1, Alexander Cruz.
Yeah,
I was trying to think of the rental site. It's not in my head right now.
Oh, at a place to...
Yeah, you rent a house, right?
Oh, like timeshare?
Yeah, sort of. Foul called against Evergreen.
Yeah, we get to spend Halloween here.
We will, yes. My daughter is not too pleased with that, but...
Ditto.
By number 2, Will Kisner.
And here is Kisner to put the ball back in. Strong kick by Kisner. AG looks to battle. That one was won the other way. But sniffing out that potential counter. Was that Finn Richmond tracking all the way back?
It was.
You are Christian Lynch and the Seahawks. You love to see that, right? Your guy who's your premier goal scorer making a, 60-yard run back. As Christian Lynch, head coach of Cold Spring Harbor, foul called against Evergreen again.
Graduate of Northport High School, Christian Lynch.
Yeah, Lynch, class of 2000. Played lacrosse and soccer at Northport. Was Comac United club team. How about playing lacrosse at Sacred Heart, right? And then started his coaching career, coaching lacrosse in England, in Oldham. And that's actually where he ended up falling in love with soccer. So the COVID spring season, that's when he took over. Before that, he was Eddie Muller's assistant for 10 years.
And Eddie is like a legend amongst the coaching crew. All the coaches looking up to Eddie. And Eddie's usually up in the booth with us. But he moved to Rhode Island to be close to the grandkids.
Hopefully he's watching us here now live on the Varsity Media Sports Network. A broadcast that is free on our YouTube channel thanks to the fine folks at Orlin and Cohen. And that will be the case throughout these boys soccer playoffs. This time throw-in comes from this near sideline. That's Owen Neary, the junior. He was on JV last year and from JV, and now he's earned a starting spot at left back. A hard challenge with Cienfuentes wearing the captain's armband. And it will be another throw for Sheridan.
Correction, number 4, Connor Sheridan on the throw-in for Cold Spring Harbor.
Sheridan spins it up this near sideline, headed out by Joshua Flores, a center back who really covers well, and there's a certain level of comfort for head coach Jose Figueroa when he sees number 22 going for the ball. Sheridan, the throw, headed away, but right back to Sheridan, settles it. Now with his left, serves it back post. And again, we'll have a chase and a challenge for the loose ball and a throw-in for Evergreen.
And how about that header from the sophomore, Emmanuel Villalta? He might be the smallest guy out on the field, and he won that ball in the middle. That's the kind of tenacity he's going to need out of these guys. Coach said that he passes well, he's got good vision, but they are making a wonderful defensive play.
And I'm sure it's like what you tell your guys, right, all the time. It's not about the size, right? It's how much do you want that ball? A lot of times it's almost like rebounding in basketball. It's positioning.
100% is positioning. You got to be able to read that ball off the foot, and he was the only one there. Did a really nice job. At a tough spot for a guy his size to play. Nice pass there on cue.
Good decision trying to loft one over, looking for Cienfuentes. Wasn't there. But Evergreen trying to tilt the field a little bit, and it's been, for the first 14 minutes, very much in favor of these Seahawks. Where are we going with the throw? It'll be to Evergreen. Good look there at Emmanuel, numbers number 2. That's Chris Cruz, Alex Cruz's twin brother.
Number 2 for Evergreen.
A guy who's strong, he covers his position. He's a guy who's not afraid to push up when they're attacking.
And a guy who you hope knows how to make a double knot.
Well, listen, as a soccer dad myself, I learned that right away.
We've had this like
those
the
soccer cleats
time.
Are just like not. And on this opportunity, Evergreen will sub.
All right, so here's Cruz.
Goes up the sideline, locates Cienfuentes' feet. Good job there.
Substitution on the field, number 16,
And now,
Steven
right, you play some 1-2s. But you're called for a foul.
It was a good challenge here. Just went a little bit too hard, but they started to generate a little something there offensively.
Yeah, you could see there, Cienfuentes get central, and then you could start to combine with some of your teammates. Long ball played up the field. And a dangerous foot. And a really good set piece opportunity here for Cold Spring Harbor. You saw it right away in the challenge. Patricia Thelwell was immediate in her issuance of this free kick. First, of course, she wants to check safety-wise, as that was Mazzilli. And here comes Finn Richmond. Can absolutely hammer a ball. There is a 3-man wall about a yard outside the 18, so we'll call it 29 yards here. Finn Richmond just over. Cold Spring Harbor 9-6-1 on the season. A year ago, they were 7-7. They lost to Wheatley in the semifinal rounds. The year before that, 10-4-1. They were the top seed, and they lost to 4th-seeded Carl Place, 2-0 in the championship game. The Frogs in that one scored twice in the final 8 minutes to win the county championship. High ball in the air. And it's Cold Spring Harbor that are trying to win it. They do here on that far side. But that one goes out for a goal kick.
You saw that nice touch of Mazzilli there, right? He got that ball out to Vitagliano, and Vitagliano gave it a little chase, but a nice little look there. They're starting to open things up instead of driving it up the middle, which can be a big asset if they can get those shots.
On the season, Cold Spring Harbor, 39 goals for, 24 against, which is a little bit of a high number, and especially to consider, like the middle of the season, they had some doldrums, right? They had a hot start. I mean, you lose a game to Northport, there's no harm in that, but then just 4 days later, you beat Carl Place 4-2, right? And then you beat Friends, you beat West Hempstead, you beat Evergreen, you beat Oyster Bay. So now you're rolling a little bit, right? You're 5-0 in the conference. You're 5-1 overall. And then you have a loss to Locust Valley, and then Hicksville, and then you tie Syosset. Then you lose to Carl Place. You lose to Wheatley and Friends. So you kind of had to circle the wagons a little bit for the Seahawks. They did, and they ended the season really strong. And that one nearly an own goal, and it will be a corner kick Cold Spring Harbor, their third of the first half.
And it tells you a lot about the resilience in the coaching, because when you have that strong start and then you hit that middle period, it takes a lot to rebound, but they bookended their season in a really strong way with really strong play, and here they are at the right time.
Josh Stemfel.
Stemfel, good service. Multiple players battling for it, and it's knocked behind by Evergreen for another corner. And you're right, it was 3 consecutive wins to end the regular season for Cold Spring Harbor. Christian Lynch said that they corrected the ship, and he feels pretty confident, or he felt pretty confident heading into the postseason. Good ship. Looks like 2 players going for the same ball. That one headed, knocked over. What a save by Cruz. That looked to be a sure goal by Rio Furukawa, but Cruz said no.
You said it, Rio Furukawa, just in an excellent position there. As we take a look at it, the header and the one-handed save by Cruz as he's fallen back.
Another header, right in to Cruz.
How about Cruz so far? It's looking really good.
5 saves early on for Alex Cruz. And Figueroa said, we don't win a Long Island Championship last year if it wasn't for Alex Cruz.
And of those 5 saves, like 2 extremely athletic, impressive saves.
One v2, and a foul was earned. And this one will be like a corner. 5th foul against Evergreen.
A nice sportsmanship by Walter Oyua, helping out after the foul committed. Just a sophomore. Seen a lot of that so far today. Sportsmanship has been at a high.
Stemfel
Number 9, Josh Stemfel.
serves it in. Sheridan was an option, unable to get it to him. And snuffing out that potential counterattack. Good job defensively.
Yeah, that was Marcio Rodriguez, one of the guys we highlighted earlier. They're getting to those headers. We said that they've, given up size in this game. You saw it. It was evident during the national anthem. But they've been winning those balls in the box.
Evergreen Charter out of Hempstead. They've only scored 14 goals on the year. They've conceded 36. A 3-8-1 year. And again, if trends mean anything at the end of the season, and I don't necessarily subscribe to that, it didn't trend well for Evergreen at the end of the regular season. A 4-0 loss to Cold Spring Harbor, a 6-1 loss to Carl Place, and then a 7-1 loss to Friends Academy. But yet here they are midway through this first half, and they are scoreless with Cold Spring Harbor. Not looking out of place at all. Nice 1-2. Looking for Rio Furukawa. The junior was a regular starter for Cold Spring Harbor. Was injured since the first Locust Valley game. That was back in early September. Came back for the second Cold Spring Harbor game, but only played the first half of that one. Got re-injured, and he's worked to get himself back on the field. An excellent winner of balls in the air. That time he went to his feet to win that challenge, but here comes Cienfuentes the other way. Checks the rear view. A nice through ball, threaded really well into the box. 2 Cold Spring Harbor players blocked that shot, and it will go out. And right there you see exactly what we talked about at the start of this broadcast, the collective defending as Anderson Melendez doesn't get a free shot at the goal.
Yeah, and you see a good challenge there by Ethan Light, the junior, wearing number 18. Coach said he's playing a little bit out of position, but you wouldn't tell by that play. He gets in there, and collectively they make a nice play to thwart that scoring attempt.
And even before the game day changes, Light was a late addition to the starting lineup. The regular starter at left back, or excuse me, at right back, Connor Chamyunk with the flu. First corner now for Evergreen. High in the air. And that shot wide of the net. And there's a good look at a guy who got on the bus today at Cold Spring Harbor figuring he'd be on the bench. And that's the beauty of sports, right? You go through your pregame warm-ups thinking in your head, I'm playing this game even though you realize you're probably not. But you know what? 9 times out of 10, you're not. But today's the 10th time.
And he looks confident out there, I got to say. He's got a little swagger there.
He's got a lot of support from his brothers today, too. Finn Richmond battling for that ball. Cleared out by Joshua Flores. That'll be a fun matchup. The best center back for Evergreen against one of the top forwards in Nassau Class B, certainly, if not Nassau County and Finn Richmond. And here's Connor Sheridan again. Headed. Ooh, that's a dangerous kick for Cold Spring Harbor. It wasn't malicious, right? But you were playing the ball that got served to the back post, but it was dangerous. And a foul call, the first against Cold Spring Harbor. Another look, Rob.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it here. You see it's a scoring opportunity, but the foot gets up, and Oriana looks like he might have got clipped a little bit, but got back up, and no medical assistance needed. He's back in the play, so good to see for Oriana.
That was great in Vitagliano, who got his foot a little bit too high. A throw for Evergreen. Chris Cruz to do so. The Cruz brothers are twins right down to the hairstyle as well, right?
Yeah, it's uncanny, the two of them. The only thing separating them is that penny.
Yeah, and the position, right? Like, I will play goal, you will be right back.
Number 13.
And look at Richmond exploding down the left side into the box. Finn Richmond sends it in front. A terrific block. The header back in by Furukawa. It's still alive. Another desperate attempt before the offside flag is raised.
We said it. Sheridan can create separation. He does so as we get a look. Gets a separation. Has to go to his left. Tries to connect out in front to Vitagliano. And just the angle, a little tough for him to get that shot off, but you wonder.
Ball one in the midfield. And smart play there by Evergreen, right? Let's push our numbers up. But a terrific punt by Gito to midfield. A header one. 50-50 challenge. A Cold Spring Harbor throw. And now the Seahawks will sub. Certainly a terrific championship history for Cold Spring Harbor. 5 state titles, 11 Long Island championships, 20 county titles. And they're looking for county title number 21. They last won the Bees in 2009. And ironically, that little weird quirk, it's Evergreen, the team that's won a championship more recently, right? And that one by Kisner when begging there at the far post.
So right now, Cold Spring Harbor bringing a lot of pressure. They've had a few quality scoring opportunities. but there's just something missing in this game to finish the ball for them. And you're just waiting for that counterattack. Evergreen hasn't had a shot in a while. They've had a few chances quickly, but nothing ended up in a shot as we got some feet being tied up there. And a card assessed.
Yeah, that was from behind, so our first card issued, and this against Evergreen. Another look. Rob is first the pull. Yep, there we go.
It looked like he clipped him, though, with his hand, not the foot, as far as the trip-up goes, and it's going to be Duarte with a yellow card.
And over this one is Mazzilli. Right, is that 6 or 9?
Yeah, I believe it's Mazzilli, and they're going to ask for their 10 yards here.
Yeah, it really should, because right now it's only about 5. Considering that you stop, and now, yeah, that will, to her point, you know, if that will had to write in the card in her book, and now she will count out the 10 yards. And now a conversation among a couple Seahawks, and maybe Will Kisner. Kisner says, I got this one. Kisner, the service across the box, and the ball went back across and out.
When they switched out and went to Kisner, you kind of thought they're going to look for that pass, and it's been about, that's like the third attempt in the same area where the ball's been shot wide, but a good idea there. Unselfish and well thought out, getting Mazzilli involved in a different way.
Nice turn. And now some combination play. A challenge, and no foul was called. Thelwell made the motion of a ball, saying it was an all-ball challenge. That was Andrew Jasinski, the freshman, number 23. There you see him in the box as we go out for a corner for Cold Spring Harbor. They're 6th of this first half.
Just got to go to look at Jasinski there.
Sent in. Second ball. Punched out by Cruz. Still alive. Jasinski got a touch, and a shot was blocked. Another corner.
Coach said at Jasinski, you know, he's a really skilled guy. He's not very big, but Coach is pretty sure he's going to grow. He's only a freshman. His sister Megan is really tall and plays on the girls' soccer team. And he's been involved in a lot of these plays now. Looking at his number a lot, he gets his body in there.
And there's Stempfel. The junior plays it across the box. Went off the thigh of Richmond, and it will be sent out for a Cold Spring Harbor throw. We don't have possession numbers here, Rob, but I would venture to guess probably like 70% maybe for Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, and it's starting to get that feel, you know. Like, again, Evergreen had an opportunity early on with a shot on net. They did have that one break a little later, but not much brewing. But these are the games as a coach you get nervous. When you have this much pressure, it just takes one counterattack, one quick rush.
Perhaps this is that quick rush that you alluded to. And that's Cienfuentes on the ball. Great delivery down that left side as Evergreen pushed their numbers forward. But it's taken away by Cold Spring Harbor. Now, if anything, at the least what you do there is you at least tilt the field back your way instead of being on your defensive third.
Yeah, create a little space, keep them on their toes, but you got to give credit to the athleticism of that entire defense for Cold Spring Harbor. They get back quickly and play a very physical ball.
Okay, you've got Neary as a left back, Kisner, sweeper, Connor Sheridan, the stopper, Ethan Light, the right back. And as I'm sure you tell your guys every training session, defending is a team job. It's not just the back four. Good touch. And there is an ambitious effort fired well over the bar. I like the idea by Cienfuentes.
Yeah, definitely a good idea to try to get that shot off again. They want to test Gito. He had a very hectic warm-up when I was down there. Red cheeks, and they were peppering him, and, he's ready to go, but he's cooled off a lot since then. So they want to get those shots, maybe catch him off guard.
Yeah, their warm-up was like akin to like a fire drill. Yeah. Like there's announcements for the trainer. There's like sirens going on. Like what is happening on the field? Guys, soccer players, I mean, a lot of athletes are, but, you're creatures of the same routine, right? As the ball served in, good job by Gito coming off his line to corral. But you're used to a certain routine, and all of a sudden, that is just blown up.
And again, for those you checking in, starter Ty Donaldson, the junior, regular starter, hurt during warm-ups. He was hurt earlier in the season versus Carr Place. Worked his way back and doesn't get this chance today.
Richmond plays it across the 18. Service for Akawa. Doesn't get full delivery on that. It looks like the offside flag was up anyway.
You got the twins in that frame there. You see how much they look alike, and a good job by the brothers to make sure that the ball didn't go in the net despite the call.
Yeah, those are the brothers, as that's a shot. Oh, kicked save by Cruz. Didn't expect that. Second opportunity, fire just wide. So Cruz, early on, we're seeing maybe some freelance out of him, right? Like, not quite kind of like 90s Rene Higuita scorpion kick, but unexpectedly stretching out that leg to make the kick save.
Yeah, a little hockey style right there. You play with fire, though. You don't know where it's going to go.
Well, that was true for Higuita, if you remember back in the 1990 World Cup against Cameroon, right? Loved to kind of be that sweeper keeper, and he got burned in a big way in Italy, and Colombia went home and Cameroon advanced. Cienfuentes takes a touch for himself. And there is that tracking back you mentioned before, Rob, as the ball intercepted at midfield. Sheridan quickly ahead. It's a foot race. Richmond gets position. Nice turn, a little back heel. Header just wide. That was pretty stuff from Cold Spring Harbor.
And Dylan, it's like they're getting closer and closer. Two shots just wide, the header and a shot prior by Stumful. And we can take a look here. Ball chipped in and a really nice header just going wide. It was Luca Mazzilli there getting involved. And
just before the service, he had a little back heel, right? Like it was really clever stuff there by Cold Spring Harbor.
You got to give credit to Evergreen. I mean, they are hanging on right now, not letting anything in. You can't win if you can't score. So doing everything they can, and I'm sure would be happy 0-0 going into the half.
Yeah, right now, Cold Spring Harbor a 14-5 edge in shots, a 7-1 edge in corner kicks. Cruz has had to make 5 saves. Gito only the 1 to this point. And yet, we are scoreless. Cruz goal kick.
I think you were generous on that time of possession, 70-30. It's starting to feel like it's Seahawk dominance right now as far as the ball possession goes.
And to that point, Rob, it feels like it's one of those games where if you can get one, that the floodgates will open for Cold Spring Harbor. But it's, can you get the one? Richmond tried to play it to himself, and Cruz grabs it.
And that's the guy who's had something to say about it. You know, he's been making the big saves and protecting the floodgates.
Yeah, he looks more like the Long Island Championship winning goalkeeper today. And again, maybe it's the bright lights. Maybe it's the colder weather. Foul called against Evergreen. They've been called for 6 of the 7 fouls issued in this first half. There's a good look at Will Kisner. Again, this will be served in. But nobody making... That was a tough ball played in, but really nobody made that run either.
No, they've gone there a couple of times to that far post and not connecting. And to your point about the cold weather, our first game started at 4 o'clock and it was 64 degrees. It's now 55. We dropped almost 10 degrees. Long Island.
There'll probably be another 6 or 7 degrees by the time we exit
Looks like
on Route 110.
Yeah, right. The winds died down a little bit, though.
I might have to utilize my heated seats and steering wheel on the way home.
Get that car started before you get there.
Yeah, I could do it. I have an app for that.
Do you?
I do.
Do you have an app to get Ben Turchin to get us some hoodies?
That's a more difficult proposition, I think, than starting my car from my phone.
You have to negotiate that in your next contract?
Possibly.
Number 13 with the throw-in, Jeff Garcia.
Ball out. Goal kick.
But it is the best time of year for soccer, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think these guys will tell you the same.
Yeah.
Like, you could deal with the coldness and you're out there running, right? You're getting a sweat on. It's when you add in like the rain or the strong winds that you could do without. But this is really just beautiful weather to play a meaningful soccer game in. Good slide tackle. That was Cienfuentes. He has been everywhere for Evergreen in this opening 40 minutes. Bit of a miss hit, and look at Richmond. We've used the word exploding through, and that's what he does. There's that back heel, but read well. And Evergreen looks to try to dispossess. Another slide tackle, play on, goes up to Cienfuentes. Smart play by Cienfuentes to back off that 50-50 challenge and try to win the second ball. And here's Richmond again. That one was challenged and out. And what do we have? It went off of Richmond, much to the dismay of the Cold Spring Harbor fans. As we are approaching the final minute now, or we are in the final minute of this first half.
Just under a minute left in the first half.
And you pointed out that Richmond-Flores battle, and it has been nothing shy of what we expect. Flores is doing a great job keeping them wide.
And we didn't list Flores as an impact player. We certainly could have, but those are, that's strength on strength there. That's your best center back or your best forward. Let's get it on, as it's a goal kick for Cruz, and he could massage this one probably right down to the final whistle here.
Goal kick by number 1.
Cruz sends it up to midfield. It's 1 in the midfield by Cold Spring Harbor. That was Neary to do so. Groans from the Cold Spring Harbor faithful, looking for a foul, none given. Ball played up the field, and the final whistle is blown on a first half. Again, field tilted, stats tilted, everything positive for Cold Spring Harbor, but yet it is 0-0. And Evergreen will go into halftime using that as a rallying cry. We took their best shot. They didn't score on us. And how much will Cold Spring Harbor maybe tighten up a little bit because of it? A lot of fun storylines to come in the second half. But it is halftime here at Farmingdale State, and it is 0-0 between third-seeded Evergreen and the second-seeded Seahawks of Cold Spring Harbor. We'll have halftime stats when we return here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Thank you for watching Varsity Media, the leaders in New York high school sports coverage.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so you're here watching the Varsity Media halftime report throughout the playoffs. I'm joined by state representative, the big man, and the color analyst, Al Freeman, and also by Mr. Instagram, the Instagram man, and head coach at Oyster Bay, Brian Donahue. Al, let's start out with you. The playoffs, an exciting time of year. What's Nassau bringing?
NASA's bringing a very competitive set of classification playoffs, Brian and Rob. It's incredible. We've already started, and we've had some upsets in AAA. And today there's going to be some single A games, and I wouldn't bet against anybody winning each individual game today because it's that competitive.
Again, I'm going to piggyback on what Al said. Not only have we had an incredibly tight and awesome playoff games, right? We had a couple of OT games already. We've had a PK shootout already, but that is coming off the heels of a very competitive regular season. Out of our 7 conferences, only one of them, which is the AAAs, came down to crowning champions on the last day of the season. And even in the AAAs, this was a conference that was battling out for the number 2 and the number 3 seed on the last day of the season. So, we've gotten Nassau soccer to a point where literally every single one of our leagues is very, very competitive. And there are some top-notch, high-level competitors sitting in these conferences. So as we go through, we look at guys like Miles Watson in Garden City with 24 regular season goals. He's a guy who can dominate a game. And for those of the guys out there who watch my Sunday night podcasts, I've been saying all along, a team like Glen Cove, you can't sleep on someone like Henry Hernandez. And when we saw him play his game last time, he scored 4 goals in a playoff game to push Glen Cove through. And then someone like AJ Galino for Plainage down in the A's, he's seemingly been a Newsday top 100 player for the last 4 years. I'm looking for someone like him to now go and dominate in a playoff game and now try and push that Plainage through. And then if you look at the Bees, you have Carl Place with their 2-headed monster of Leary and Jason Pereira in the midfield. Both of them were all-state players. And, we still haven't figured out a time when a team brought back 2 all-state players. And Ryan Leary has the possibility of being a 3-time all-state player.
And the best thing about having you, Brian, is that the Instagram has put out a great product, getting Nassau County soccer to all the athletes. Varsity Media also this year doing a huge job with 12 games, 18 different teams, and then the generosity of Orlin and Cohen to make these playoffs free for all the parents and athletes in Nassau County. It's an amazing opportunity, and both of you have been a part of it as far as broadcasters. Just maybe a little quick, Al, your broadcasting experience, any highlights from the games you got to work with?
Well, first of all, I think it starts with the tremendous legwork that's done by both Dylan and John in getting information from the 2 teams and getting the coaches to open up. The information that they brought in really enhanced the broadcast and made the players and the coaches come alive to the audience.
I like seeing the other side of it, and it's a lot harder than it looks. For everyone out there who wants to think about getting into this side, it's so much harder than it looks. And, for me, I think it's starting to make me a better coach. I get to see a lot more teams than just my team and the few teams in Conference B, going to see all these teams on these other fields and trying to break down their games from now a color analyst perspective. It's putting the whole perspective of coaching in a different light.
For your coverage of the states and the playoffs in general, tell everybody about what they're going to get on Instagram, where they find you, and how they can get in touch.
So you can go to Nassau Soccer on Instagram, and, I'm going to be at all of the games going forward, as many as I can. I can't take half days from work as much as I would love to. We have games, kicking off at 2:00 in these quarterfinals, semifinal games. I will be at every semifinal and final game going forward. I'll be at every Long Island Championship game going forward. And every one of Nassau County teams that go forward from the Long Island Championship, I'll be going up to the state games. I'll be up there. Send me clips, send me information about your players. And, all we care about on the Nassau Soccer Instagram page is promoting our teams and our players. And it's all about positivity in that community that we're creating there.
And nobody does it better, Bryce. So Nassau County's got a ton of great people working behind the scenes. Al Freeman, one of them. Thanks, Al, Brian. Awesome stuff, folks. You're watching All the Playoffs, sponsored by Orlin and Cohen for free here on the Varsity Media Network. Get ready for the second half and enjoy some playoff soccer.
Hi, I'm Dr. Craig Levitz, and I'm the Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Orlin and Cohen Orthopedics and the Head of Sports Medicine at Northwell Health. With the playoffs coming around, this is the prime time of year for significant shoulder injuries. And the most common injury that we see in soccer players is subluxation of the shoulders. They take a hit or they fall on their shoulder and their shoulder slides out of the socket. And for most of us, we don't think that's a big deal because it just feels like a little nothing when it happens. You feel good afterwards and you're right back out there. But often when that happens, you can tear your labrum. And those are the ligaments that stabilize the shoulder. And with repetitive subluxations or dislocations or repetitive trauma to the shoulder, it can lead to surgery. So it's very important to address this when it happens and make sure you're not going right back out there before understanding the injury, because it can feel okay, obviously, until you get hit there again, until it falls again, and then you start doing permanent damage. It's very rare an initial injury does permanent damage. It's only when you continue to play through it and neglect it that the permanent damage occurs, and that almost always leads to surgical intervention to repair the ligaments. The best way to diagnose it or know is your history itself. Most athletes know when their shoulder slid and they just don't know what that was. They don't know what happened or what it was, but that is a strong situation to make sure you bring to the attention of your athletic trainer and definitely get checked out by an orthopedic surgeon. Unlike when I was a kid, we have MRIs readily available, and the best way to determine if you can play the next day or right away is to get an MRI right away. It's very easy for a doctor to say, take 4 weeks off and let's see how you do and get you back out there. The problem is that's half the season in high school. So we treat our high school athletes like professional athletes and try to get an MRI within 24 to 48 hours of their injury. So if it's nothing significant, they can get into therapy and be back playing by the weekend. We take pride in getting our athletes back as soon as it's possible and as when it's safe as possible. And the best way to do that is with early intervention, early examination by a physician, athletic training team, and getting an MRI as soon as possible to ascertain the exact diagnosis. Unfortunately, with repetitive dislocations, it does require surgery. Fortunately, most of the time athletes can finish the year out, but we don't want this to become a lifelong problem and highly recommend surgery after the seasons. But in today's technology, it's all done through the camera, and I'd say 98% of our patients are back at the same level they were before in a few short months back to playing. The only thing that might be a little bit difficult would be a throw-in the first couple of months, but generally soccer as a whole is well tolerated and a quick recovery. The only problem is when we neglect these injuries, small, simple injuries that could have been handled with a good rehab program and physical therapy turn into surgical problems and permanent damage to the ligaments and bones that now require more extensive surgeries. And that's what we want to do with early intervention, is avoid those issues.
Welcome back to Farmingdale State. Halftime here of the second Nassau Class B semifinal. It is scoreless between Cold Spring Harbor and Evergreen. Dylan Butler, Rob Anderson, our entire Varsity Media crew with you. Cold Spring Harbor did a lot of things right in that first half. Everything but put the ball in the back of the net. You see some of the first half stats, Rob.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And the stats don't even, again, we don't have an official time of possession, but Cold Spring Harbor possessed the ball most of the game. 14 shots on net, some incredible saves by Cruz of Evergreen. Evergreen had a little scoring opportunities very early in the game, testing new goalkeeper Michael Gito. And I would say that, Cold Spring Harbor right now, Christian Lynch has to say, boys, you're bringing all the pressure. Let's just get those shots on net. They're getting closer and closer as they go. And for Evergreen, heck of a job holding down the fort going into the half, but they need to generate something offensively and find those passing lanes like they did earlier.
Winner of this one takes on Carl Place a week from tonight. Carl Place booked their spot, 2-1 victors over Oyster Bay. in a game that was as close as the final score indicates.
And what a game it was, huh? You know, Oyster Bay getting that goal late in the game and just brought the pressure from there on out, but holding on was Carl Place to move on to another final.
Evergreen kicks off, and straight away a collision, and the first foul was issued against Cold Spring Harbor.
This kick by number 10, Barry Duarte.
So Duarte will put the ball back into play. Usually you'll see him in the right midfield, but has moved to left back to help solidify things defensively. Good job in the midfield. Richmond, slide tackle, and the clearance. Throw in for Cold Spring Harbor. You can see the brace there on that right leg
That throw in by number 18, Ethan Light.
of Ethan Light. Ethan Light wasn't expecting to start, regular starter at right back Hunter Chamyunk, but he has the flu, so Light was given the green light. And that was, as of yesterday, maybe the most dramatic news until like 30 minutes before the game when Ty Donaldson suffered an injury, wasn't able to play. Logan Longoff in training, what was it, yesterday, got injured. So it's goalkeeper number 3, Michael Gito, for Cold Spring Harbor. And he has done, to this point, an admirable job.
Yeah, pitching a shutout through 42 minutes. A heck of a job out there. And Dylan, so far, a fairly physical game, but clean game. The only one playing underneath the card is Marcio Rodriguez with a yellow over his head right now. But otherwise, some clean physical play.
And you see Connor Sheridan running across the way. Oh, I was saying before, the only brother combination, like you had the Vitiglianos, right? You had the Sheridans. The only ones that do give Christian Lynch issues are the Furukawas. Because they do, like you said, they look so alike. Ball in the box, it's loose. And it is cleared momentarily. Good touch. An advantage played as Cienfuentes pushes the ball up. It's Melendez, the freshman. Tries to play a 1-2. And Cienfuentes, I will tell you what, whatever the result here tonight, he will sleep like a baby tonight. He has put in so much running. Like in the pros, I don't think it's, you have it here in high school, but you have those monitors, right? Like, oh my God, the miles that Cienfuentes is logging tonight.
And he's also establishing himself now as a top player in this conference, and you could see it here today. He had a beautiful ball to Melendez. He did a nice job staying onside there, but Dylan, you've said it, he's everywhere, offensively, defensively, and Cienfuentes, a top player here for Evergreen.
And on cue, there he is, taking on 3 defenders. And Cold Spring Harbor will look to possess up this sideline. Rin Furukawa was the younger brother. He's just in 8th grade. Collision at midfield. Foul against Evergreen. That's another thing that has been advantage Cold Spring Harbor in the first half. 6 fouls for Evergreen. The 1 card, as you mentioned, 1 for Cold Spring Harbor. But again, it's the Seahawks' inability to capitalize on those chances. It is Kisner to play this ball in. Kisner serves at far post, and like a lot of these other opportunities, not even with that first header. It just goes out of touch.
Yeah, you said it, and you wonder if the communication is just a delayed run. They're not getting the run there, or the ball's not going where it's supposed to. But Kisner's been taking the majority of these free kicks, and he's got a nice touch. He puts the ball in a good spot, just not connected with anybody.
Yeah, soft touch, right? He's not powering the ball, but just that last connection not there.
But it makes me wonder if it's the offense not getting the run, because those balls are put in good spots.
Melendez, draws the foul in that center circle, the FSC.
This kick by number 3, Marcio Rodriguez.
And Marcio Rodriguez puts it back into play. Rodriguez has been hampered with a bit of an ankle injury these last couple of weeks. He's not been at his regular high level. Oh, tough challenge. No foul called. Cienfuentes comes away with it. Cienfuentes has a go. And over the bar.
It's like a WWF move there. That was insane. But then he just rebounded, bounced off like a WWE wrestler would, and got the shot off. The beginning of this second half, reminiscent of that first.
I like that you self-corrected there. You went from WWF to WWE in the same sentence. That was slick.
Do you see how he went? He popped up quickly like it was a rehearsed gig there. And then the shot flowing wide. They're bringing some pressure. They did this at the start of the game. Yeah, WWF aged me, didn't it?
That's what, the World Wildlife Fund? Is that what it's?
Yeah, Federation Fund.
I'm with you. We'll go old school WWF. Hogan, Snuka.
I was a Piper guy.
Piper's Pit.
Yeah, my favorite.
And I think you can see here, look, the connections, a lot of the tactically things maybe aren't going for Evergreen, but you could see the confidence, and it's growing minute by minute, and they've got a belief.
Yeah, they're more aggressive to those first touches, too. They're moving towards the ball instead of waiting on it, trying to create a little bit more of scoring lanes as they go up there.
Good service to the edge of the 18. Taken away. It's lost, and now an opportunity. Fired it just wide, far post. Good opportunity for Cold Spring Harbor, arguably their best to date, but Vitigliano unable to get that ball on frame.
And here's another look, and these are the types of opportunities that make a coach lose hair. A nice pass there, and Vitigliano looks far, but it floats wide, and the scoring opportunities are there. Just missing the net.
Gito gets his hands on the ball. Punts it out to midfield. Sheridan tracks back, loses it on the first touch. And the one thing you could say about Evergreen, right? Like, they're not necessarily building possession, but the through balls, they have been dangerous. They've been just off. That ball takes a bounce, and Richmond tracks it down. Pumps the brakes, tries to go back the other way. Slide tackle out of bounds. Throw in for Cold Spring Harbor. Evergreen now in their, sixth half of soccer against Cold Spring Harbor this year. Still yet to score against the Seahawks. Sheridan has the ability to wreak havoc with his throw. Goes near post. Foul called against Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, solid 9.5 minutes here by Evergreen to get the second half started. And, you know, it is a testament to this Cold Spring Harbor defense, too, on why the zeros are put up. They really buckle down and just hoard whoever's got the ball.
On aggregate, that's a 5-0 advantage for Cold Spring Harbor in the regular season. But this is a new season. And Cienfuentes, does he have some magic in his feet? Dispossessed. Ooh, an elbow. Looked like that was thrown by Light. He's lucky that didn't connect. Here comes Rodriguez. He loses it. And the challenges, yeah, they're getting a little bit more physical. Rodriguez serves it in the box, cleared. One in the midfield. Ooh, that's a dangerous pass back. Look out, Richmond was coming after the ball. AG won it to him. Richmond. And now it's a foot race. And this is the part of Cruz's game where he does lack. He's not very comfortable coming off of his line. So for Cold Spring Harbor, it's smart to kind of play those between balls, right? Where it's not right at the keeper, but you make him make a decision.
Yeah, it makes the net a lot bigger when you don't come out.
Furukawa plays it up the sideline. And off of Vitigliano. So you have AG and you've got G, and that's Graydon Vitigliano. The third leading scorer, his older brother Bennett, starting striker a year ago. Doesn't play outside soccer, but you wouldn't know it, right? Real good skill, nose for the ball. He will play all three forward spots. Right now he's at the left wing. He'll play right wing. He'll play the number 9. How about this? A year ago, right? Graydon Vitigliano. As Cienfuentes pushes it ahead. Here's an opportunity for Evergreen. Oh, if they can get it back to him. Challenge in the box. And there's Cienfuentes. Cienfuentes save! And the second shot, side netting. Gito, the hero for Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, he said third string. What? Take a look at what I've got. And what a scoring opportunity here. Cienfuentes, nothing but goal. But that right arm extension there by Zito, what an incredible save. Second effort goes wide. Wow.
Hey, with your phone, you took that picture before the game. He was locked in then. He is locked in now. What a save by Gito.
Just got that hand out there, and my goodness, Cienfuentes found some space, but just couldn't bury it. And that is one that sticks in your head when you go to bed tonight.
Throw in for Cold Spring Harbor. Was finishing that point a year ago. Vitigliano, varsity soccer, basketball, and lacrosse as a sophomore.
Wow.
So a terrific athlete is Graydon Vitigliano.
Substitution on the field, number 7, Rio Furukawa.
I don't know what Coach Figueroa said to this team, but the Bears are roaring back, and they've had some nice scoring opportunities. Melendez, Cienfuentes, and number 5, Christian Zavala, who's out there, has been really doing a nice job following up a lot of these runs. You can see him out there, small guy.
And Cienfuentes, the motor on him is impressive. Melendez trying to win that ball. It goes out. Throw in for Cold Spring Harbor. And Rodriguez looks like he's holding his right calf. Oh, excuse me, his right thigh. We'll see what that is. Furukawa battles for the ball, loses it. Now here comes Evergreen the other way. They have had the best scoring chance of this game. And there's another decision. And for Evergreen, you like that, right? Again, challenge. What's your decision-making like for Gito? And he passes another test there as he punts it out to midfield. What a story brewing here tonight at Farmingdale State College. Cienfuentes tries to pump the brakes. Lost it, but it looks like he'll earn the corner. Oh, sorry. Nope, there's a push. Patricia Felwell, the referee, said push before the ball went out. So this foul against Cienfuentes.
He's got to keep his cool. He's talking a little bit out there. You don't want to see him get a card for any reason other than play. But he's really starting to get the Jets going. Doing a really nice job out there. And again, I'm really enjoying watching Zavala play number 5 out there. He's following up every play. He's made a big difference on this left side.
Number 2 on the throw for Coach Van.
Here comes Richmond off the chest. Battles 3 different Evergreen defenders. Does send the ball across. What a great last-ditch effort defending. Now Rodriguez, do you have an opportunity at a counter? Goes out for an Evergreen throw. 56th minute. Still 0-0.
Number 2 on the throw-in for Evergreen Charter.
This is a different team in the second half of this game. Again, I don't know what Coach Figueroa said over there, but
he's got an interesting backstory as well, right? Jose Figueroa, originally from Los Angeles, moved to the New York area out of high school, started coaching club ball in Hempstead, and then decided, you know what, I'm good. I'm done. And then he got a call, kind of like Godfather 3-esque, like where just when he thought he was out, he was brought back in, and they said, we have this upstart program. Why don't you see what we're about here at Evergreen? And he said he has fallen back in love with coaching soccer as a result.
And a part of it that he loves the most, he's there with his son Brandon as his assistant coach, and he couldn't be more proud of the relationship he's got with his son and the opportunity they get to spend time. And Dylan, you know, we're fathers. If you can get your kid into your job and something you're passionate about, what's better than that?
My daughter has already asked me when there's like bring your daughter to work day or can I come with you? I said, I don't know. I mean, can you be quiet for 80 minutes of a soccer game? I'm not sure.
Give her a headset. Just turn it down and pretend.
Clearance by Cold Spring Harbor. And I don't know about you, Rob, but it just, look, there's still a lot of soccer to be played, right? But it just feels, again, maybe that tightness for Cold Spring Harbor, not creating those chances, and then just like the wave after wave of momentum and belief for this Evergreen team, that in itself seems to have been tilting the field here.
And you know, I had made the comment that they just wanted to survive that last 5 minutes, get out of the half with 2 zeros, and it's a completely different game. The energy is so different, and now it seems like Cold Spring Harbor is the one trying to hold on.
Figueroa said of last year, the LIC, listen, it was nice, it was great, we weren't expecting it. You know, but now you take a step up in class and you're playing regular Class B competition. And he said it in a lot of ways, it just hasn't been fair. It's the physicality of it. His boys are not used to. That's an ambitious effort. Shot wide. He said, listen, they want to play he's like, Coach, can we play a 4-3? I said, I would love to. But I don't think we can keep the possession and defend out of that. So sometimes he said we have to switch to 5 in the back.
I'll tell you, even though it might be perceived as not fair, you've got a Long Island championship thing. I mean, like, if you told me I've got to go up to Triple A's for one of those, I'll do it.
When you go into the gym at Evergreen and you look at the banner, no one questions how you got that. No one's going to say, well, you didn't play anyone in Nassau County and you kind of, no. You're a Long Island champion.
You won the game.
That's it.
you got down there.
Throw in for Cold Spring Harbor, and here comes that man again.
And who knows, maybe a little more history, a little more magic over at Evergreen.
Yeah, I guess, late October, early November, Evergreen plays their best soccer. Sheridan, it's returned to sender. This one clipped towards the edge of the 6. Again, Cruz stays on his line. That shot fired, blocked in front. The rebound, still alive, sends towards the near post. where Cruz is able to corral.
That was Jeff Garcia making that really beautiful physical play there to keep the ball from getting through.
Great decision by Kisner, stepping up into the passing lane to take that one away. There's Vitigliano. Now it's Furukawa. Far post. Oh, he had a runner there. That was Stempful. What a terrific run and a much-needed clearance for Evergreen for another corner for Cold Spring Harbor. They had 7 corners in the first half, unable to capitalize on any. And here's Stempful, plays it short. Richmond, edge of the 18, wide of the net.
So the Seahawks continue to take shots that are floating wide. They haven't been short of opportunities, just not making hay. And when they do get it on net, it's Cruz making those saves.
Dari Duarte puts it back into play. 2 headers won by Cold Spring Harbor. Now Richmond puts the ball up in the air. Is headed, battled for, still alive. Oh, what a save by Cruz! Across his body to parry it away. Furukawa, and it goes out for a Cold Spring Harbor throw.
We'll take another look at this save. First the header, and then the ball gets back out into play. And the second header, and Cruz extends that right hand to knock it out of play, and you felt the crowd. It reverberated through the crowd. A big moment for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely robbing Mazzilli. No robbing on that side. There is goal number 1 in the game. It is Rin Furukawa. The 8th grader gives Cold Spring Harbor the 1-0 lead.
Well, that time it didn't go wide. Rin Furukawa, a laser beam of a shot. Cold Spring Harbor, first one's on the board after a lot of effort there by Evergreen. It's a big throw-in. And headed out by the Evergreen defense, but Furukawa on the bounce, even more impressive. A laser beam to the right side of Cruz, and they finally solved the puzzle.
When his opportunity came up to be a starter, he has risen to the occasion. And now in the biggest game of the year, Rin Furukawa scores the biggest goal of the season for Cold Spring Harbor.
Not easy to do on a bounce like that. He had great eye-foot coordination there. And now Evergreen facing a big task to score their first goal against Cold Spring Harbor and try to tie this thing.
And it came on the heels of Cruz making an incredible save. But then there was no stopping that shot. Well placed by Furukawa. And again, just an 8th grader. That's his brother, Rio, slide tackle out for a throw for Evergreen. Could that be the goal to send the Seahawks on their way? Melvin Oriana with the throw. He's a sophomore. He's the one who scored the only goal against Carl Place. So he's played against the best players. And there is an injury on the back. We have a stoppage of the clock. As we have that stoppage, let's show you our upcoming sportscast schedule. A lot of playoff soccer here in Nassau County. We fast forward to Monday back here at Farmingdale State, New Hyde Park, Garden City. The Trojans undefeated again on the season. They were last year, but they got upset by Manhasset. Manhasset not there anymore because they lost to New Hyde Park. Jericho Glen Cove, a terrific finale there. That's the main event there Monday night. And then Plainview JFK, Massapequa, Uniondale Syosset, and what appears to be a wide open AAA. Plainview JFK, the team that finished atop those standings, but not a lot separates those teams. You go to the A's, Mineola, Lawrence, Floral Park, North Shore. Again, it's up there, right? Mineola defending champions there as well. We go to the Gridiron, Wantagh, Cold Spring Harbor under the lights on Friday night, November 1st. And then St. Peter's and St. John the Baptist. They end the regular season against each other. And then if we had space for one more game, we would say the Class B final follows that one as well. I will endeavor to be on the call for both of those games. I am right now.
You'll make it.
It's about what the Southern State has in store for me.
So we do have an injury in a player leaving the field.
And that's a little bit of the issue for Evergreen. It's that they don't really have a lot of depth. It's difficult to go beyond their first 12 or 13. That's a dangerous ball served in. And then Gito.
Number 00, Michael Gito.
And it will maybe get lost after that Furukawa goal. But remember, it was Gito that made sure that 0 for Evergreen stood up. Furukawa's goal could have at that point only been the equalizer.
Yeah, Gito, a great story in this game, and now we're almost at a little over 223 minutes that Evergreen hasn't scored on Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, there was no way I was doing that math. I'm glad that you did.
Took me a minute. I almost wrote it down.
It's a tough one. And that's where Ethan Light, any defender, you are at your most vulnerable when you're tracking down a ball and facing your own keeper. But he did well to at least just concede a throw. And a lot of times we'll see, a defender then play it back, right? You want to play to where you're facing, but you don't know. You don't know the confidence level because there's probably not been a lot of reps there between Light, who's a substitute today outside back, and Gito, who's the third-string keeper. Richmond back into the midfield. And that ball just hammered down the field. Maybe a little bit of frustration there by Duarte.
Another thing Coach Figueroa spoke about with me before the game is that he has to also manage frustrations. As the time starts to wind down with a deficit, you've got to make sure that your team remains focused no matter what. You don't want them losing composure. They made it this far. They've got a chance. They can't have a defeatist attitude and keep pressing like they did in the first 15, 20 minutes of this half.
Well, they've got to believe the way they've played that there's got to be another chance there, right? The way that Cifuentes has played, the way that they had belief, but they need to build that back up now after conceding the go-ahead goal for Cold Spring Harbor. And it was a scoreless stalemate that had so many ebbs and flows to it, didn't it? Where first half, it was all Cold Spring Harbor. And then the second half, Evergreen was just building and building and building. And then it eventually became a Cifuentes opportunity. That was saved. Here's your goal scorer. And Furukawa that was actually number 10, Vitigliano, chasing down that ball.
And Flores going shoulder to shoulder with him again. He's been a brute back there, throwing out his body every single time to try to make sure that possession gets broken up. Solid player back there.
Winner of this one will meet Carl Place, who had their own 80-minute battle with Oyster Bay, where they had a 2-0 lead and Oyster Bay pulled one back early second half. And that was the way that one ended. Carl Place winning 2-1.
This throw in by number 13, Owen Neary.
50-50 challenge won by Cold Spring Harbor. On the bounce, Cruz will grab it. Ball over the top. And that is a push. The 50-50 ball took a bounce. And then it was just out of frustration for Cienfuentes.
And that's what you don't want to see. 13 minutes left. Frustration's got to go in the back pocket. Not easy when you're dealing with high schoolers, but, you know, we saw Oyster Bay get a little testy at the end of their game. You want to make sure that the eye is on the prize the entire time, and they've got plenty of time to try to get something done.
Number 2 with another throw-in, Christopher Cruz.
Sheridan won that header. And an opportunity now for Cold Spring Harbor. The ball bounced, and there's the finish. And the second goal is scored seemingly out of nothing, but a massive insurance goal nonetheless, as Luca Mazzilli nose for goal, huh?
Yeah, you know, the two-time all-county player, no one's surprised. We talked about him at the beginning of the game, and an easy finish for him there. He had just way too much time on the ball. Bounces off his back. He gets possession. Everybody stays on side, and the shot, a nice, easy right footer into the bottom corner, and it's now 2-0. And it feels like more than 2-0 right now.
Mazzilli, the captain, the two-time all-county player, his 9th goal of the year. And it's interesting, in our conversation with Christian Lynch said, a guy like Mazzilli, right, there's so much pressure on his shoulders. He's the guy, right, in the midfield. But it seemingly doesn't affect him. Has Richmond to step over, tries to split defenders, still has it. Richmond cross-blocked. Finn Richmond now tripped, has earned the free kick.
The initial play there by Dari Duarte, a really nice one, and then trips him up, and this is a big spot here for Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, this one will be played seemingly like a corner, and as he's done right all game, it'll be Stemful to take. Two-man wall set up for Evergreen. And I think we got a card there as well, right? And I think that was for a conversation there with Duarte.
I was going to say, it didn't look like the card was on the initial play, so there had to be a little conversation afterwards. And that's a second card issued to the Evergreen team. Rodriguez, number 3, with one earlier in the game.
But what was the color of the card? Are they playing with 9 out there? Right?
Well, our math is good.
Is that what you're counting?
That. Yeah, the 223 minutes was like my highlight, but I can count to 9.
All right. Ball put on the turf. Again, right out of the training ground. Doesn't work out there. So as if things weren't bad enough for Evergreen, it appears they're playing down a man here for the final 11 minutes and change. And what happened, too, is we were watching Stemful set up for the kick, and we just saw, kind of out of the corner of our eyes, the raising by Patricia Thelwell of a card. So it came well after the play, and again, you know, you wonder, was it something that he said But regardless, now you find yourself in a 2-goal hole, and looks like they're down a man as well.
Yeah, the last time I looked, I saw him walking off the field, pulling his captain's sleeve off. So maybe he got a little heated and said something he didn't want to say.
Number 1, Alexander Cruz.
But either way, we're back here now, and Evergreen looking to mount a big comeback with 10 minutes remaining in the game, a little over. And Cold Spring Harbor looking to either put the nail in the coffin or just hold down the fort.
And here they go attacking the Bears. Cienfuentes trying to take on all the Cold Spring Harbor defenders. And look, again, it is cliche to say, right? But this is a game of chances. And you look in both 18s, right? Cienfuentes, mano a mano, 1v1 against Jito, and Jito makes the save. And then Furukawa on the other side, he finishes his chance after Cruz made an incredible save. And obviously now you get the insurance goal as well by Mazzilli, but that is the nature of this game. It can be cruel at times. You can have a lot of possession, you can create, you can do everything right, but it's what happens within the 18s that decides a game.
And Jito, the third string last-minute starter, might have the turning point moment of the game with that big save.
I think we have to get John Perez on that. That sounds like a nice sponsor possibility there. The turning point play of the day. Is that what you called it?
The turning point play of the game?
Okay.
I don't know. They're going to have to quote me. Play it back.
Ethan Light puts it back into play. And maybe a little early to play the ball in the corner. But nonetheless, that's what Vitigliano will try to do. We saw Ryan Leary do that, but that was like with 3 or 4 minutes left. Not 8.5 minutes left.
Yeah, not something you do yet.
Although you'll take your time on any restarts as they have one here.
There was there was a brief conversation after that game about that type of play and whether or not there could be delayed game assessments in the future if they don't attempt to play the ball.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how you decide that. But little conversation with the officials, whether it was just throwing something against the wall.
That is interesting because, I mean, look, Leary just bracing himself for contact, not even trying to play the ball there, in fact, invites contact. So, which is what officials don't want. So it ended up being Jimmy Memos, the official. He had no choice. They were the right calls, but he had to dole out 3 consecutive yellow cards.
Yeah, and I should clarify that the conversation was about protecting the player, calling the delay a game to protect that type of contact.
Now, if you're on the ball, as Vitigliano is, then it's a different story, right? Because you're on the ball, you're playing it, you can get it knocked off a leg. But like Leary was a good couple of yards off the ball, not even trying to make an attempt on the ball. That does make for an interesting conversation, though. Josh Stempfel.
Throwing for Cold Spring Harbor, number 9, Josh Stempfel.
And Vitigliano will go back to the corner. He'll win the throw. See that one? He played it.
Another throw in for Cold Spring Harbor, number 9, Josh Stempfel.
And that's what Vitigliano does there as well. But it will go for a throw.
But again, invited that shove.
But he did play the ball, though.
He did.
That's the one where you would say, yeah, you're playing the ball.
Right. It does invite injury, though. I mean, or just the frustration aspect of it and dangerous play. It's tough. It's going to be a tough call. Like, if they decided to do it, how do you enforce it? You've got to make an executive decision that's not going to make anybody happy.
And suddenly you'll have like a Leary rule where he's already known for his corner kick, for his throw-ins that are like corner kicks. And now he'll be known as the guy to have this potential winning the game late ball by the corner flag guy.
Yeah. Be like the Sean Avery of
yeah, that was different. You can't, he wasn't even, Avery wasn't even facing, like he was facing Brodeur and just putting his stick up in Bordeaux's face.
Classic moment.
So Cold Spring Harbor, they're 5 minutes and change away from getting back to the final. And it's been a couple years for the Seahawks. We mentioned before, their championship history, which is rich. Get back to that as a second. That shot by Richmond wide of the mark. But last year, they made the semifinals, and they lost. They lost in the semifinals as well in 2022. Their last trip to the finals was in 2021, and that was a 2-1 double overtime loss to Locust Valley. And again, you have to go back for Cold Spring Harbor, their last B championship in 2009. And it does set up for, again, if this result holds, a really tasty final, doesn't it?
It certainly does. They split the regular season and have a chance to settle it all next week.
And also, we were talking about aggregate scores before, right? That aggregate score is literally level.
Yeah.
Because it was 4-2 for Cold Spring Harbor, right? Opening salvo, big statement in early September. And then Carl Place, by the same score line, gets that back, 4-2.
And you feel like you're going to see two extremely different teams than you saw today.
Sure.
Out of Carl Place and Cold Spring Harbor when they face each other, I think it's going to bring a different intensity.
Well, all the pressure were on these two teams, right? The favorites,
Right.
heavy favorites, as the 1 and the 2. Here is Richmond. Barge from behind. Push down, no foul call, but look at the ball that serves up perfectly. Left-footed shot, though, right at Cruz. That was right on Vitigliano's plate there, but just unable to get that goal. And if Evergreen do go down to defeat, you've got to look at some of their key guys, right? Like Cienfuentes, the senior. It's unfortunate he'll go out, but you know what? He'll have a Long Island championship to his name and really part of the bedrock, right, of the foundation. This is only a second-year varsity program. So he is a big part to establish the foundation that Figueroa and the brain trust there at Evergreen hope is continued success. And Alex Cruz as well. He's a senior, a guy who was integral in that Long Island championship win. So two guys who certainly will leave, Rob, a lasting legacy for this Evergreen program.
Yeah, the Cruz twins both on their way out, and I'm not sure what exactly Coach Figueroa has in store for us as a backup goalie for Cruz, but that's some tough cleats to fill.
Well, we know what Cold Spring Harbor has in goal in Gito. And Gito left campus today not expecting to be in the position he was in. And yet he embraced that opportunity. He attacked it, made a massive save, and he's now a minute 14 away from a clean sheet in a county semifinal.
Yeah, he's going to get a playoff win in a massive last-minute start. And then, depending on the injury, you got to wonder if he's going to be there next week.
Yeah, for much of the season, for the early portion of the season, you had for a lot of games, 2 keepers, right? Logan Lonoff, he was lights out for like 4 or 5 games, and he got hurt. So it was Ty Donaldson who came in. He got hurt in the second half of the first Cold Spring, first Carl Place game, and then he had to work himself back. So when Lonoff went out injured, then Donaldson came back in, but now both are hurt, and Gito is in. Final 25 seconds here. As Evergreen looking for a cosmetic goal. They've not scored against Cold Spring Harbor all year. They've earned a corner with the final 8 seconds.
5 seconds left.
The corner will not be given. And look at in the goal. Look at Gito. Gito, the hero. And look at the embrace. No, be careful, guys. You need to keep him for another game. And Gito's like, he's shrugging himself off, protecting himself from the celebration. What a job by Michael Gito in goal. Third string to a clean sheet in the county semifinal, making a massive save against Cienfuentes in the second half to help lead Cold Spring Harbor to the county championship game. And the bracket is updated. It hasn't been busted. Let's take a look. And there it is. It's 1 versus 2. Under the lights here, Farmingdale State a week from today. 13-2-2 for Carl Place. 10-6-1 for Cold Spring Harbor. They split the regular season games. They both won 4-2. Seemingly there is no advantage now going in to this championship match.
You said it, Dylan. Everything hits a reset button going into the championship game. Carl Place gets past Oyster Bay by a score of 2-1. Oyster Bay, a yeoman's effort, but Carl Place, the victor, doing what they typically do. Today, Cold Spring Harbor and Evergreen. We were looking for an underdog story, and we got one. But it wasn't Evergreen Charter. It was Gito in the net with a big turning point in the game. And Cold Spring Harbor, the victor.
And listen, before we go off air, huge credit and kudos to Oyster Bay and Evergreen, just battling for 80 minutes, each of them in tight games that really weren't decided until the very end. So well done to the underdogs here today, but it is the 2 favorites who do emerge. And again, it sets up for what should be an outstanding Class B final. That'll do it here for us from Farmingdale State. I want to thank our entire Varsity Media crew, our executive producer, Mr. Met himself, Ben Turchin, who suddenly, I don't know, somehow he's become a Dodgers fan now. I don't understand it. Becca Kazaks, our technical director, Tony DeMasso and AJ Nieves, our camera operators, from my broadcast partner, Rob Anderson. I'm Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from Farmingdale State. We look forward to seeing you again very soon on the Varsity Media Sports